Welcome back, guys. It's been nearly 2 years since my last video. I've been overseas, but I'm back now, back in the shed, and I've just picked up this stunning Mk7 in Tornado Red. Let's check it out. If you haven't checked the classifieds recently, I suggest you do. The earlier Mk7Rs, especially the slightly higher kilometer ones, they're becoming a really, really good used buy. You can get one for as low as 12 and you can pay 15 and get quite a good one. I got this one for an absolute steal. Tornado Red, proper manual, full leather, front assist, all the bells and whistles. You wouldn't guess it, but this one actually has over 200,000 Ks on it. This one even has a complete dealership service history right up until the very last service. Surprisingly, I snagged this one from one of those weird, semi-legit LMCT used car lots that you don't know if they're a front for something or they're actually legit. But I just had a good feeling about it. It was in Melbourne, went down, drove it back over the next couple of days. Mechanically, it's perfect, but aesthetically, it certainly didn't always look like this. When I first got it back into the shed, it had all sorts of hazing and swirls and issues with the paint and bits of the exterior and the trim. Now, I was going to do a whole instructional video on a top to bottom 30-hour paint correction and restoration. I just don't think I'm skilled and knowledgeable enough in it to be providing my unsolicited advice on the internet. But here's what we did, and here's where we got it to where it is now. We started with a very thorough wash with some truck wash and some detergent, washing the top, then the bottom, so we didn't drag all the dirt that our sponge picked up through the paint. Very thorough high pressure wash down and semi-dry came next. And we did a iron decon and a clay bar to get all the sap and small contaminants on the paint off. You do have to be careful with a clay bar. You don't want to drag more dirt and schmutz through your paint, but it's good if you're doing a full correction like we are. You can tell your iron decon works well when your rotors start to rust. Racing an evening storm, we finished the wash down and the clay bar. Under the light, you can see all the issues this paint had. Halos, big scratches, a lot of stone chips, over 50 stone chips I counted in just the front end, all in need of filling and correction. We got everything out and we started with focus on the paint chips. I had a local paint shop mix up some 2K and binder. I used a bit of masking tape to limit where I sanded to get a good surface for the new paint to adhere to. The little paint touch-up brushes, they work really, really well. 2 applications of the paint with about 40 minutes in between should fully fill the little depression that the chip has left. I mask up the edges of a razor and use the middle bit to cut off the high part of the drip from the patching. Using a flat surface and some 1500 grit, I sand down what is left of the little paint drip from the touch-up and give the area a general sand with some 1500 and then some 2500 with a wet sand. Follow that up with a good cutting compound, a cleanup and a polish, and you can't tell that the chip was ever there. It was time consuming, but I did eventually do it for all 52 chips. I'd say most of them turned out really, really well, with no record of them ever being there unless you really knew where they were. If you were being paid for this, it would be far more economical to just respray the whole bonnet. But I guess I had a bit of free time at this point. The bonnet did come up really, really well. Next thing I looked at was a few deep scratches that had gone through all the way down to the primer in a few different spots. So we started sanding them up, roughing them up with some 1500 grit. We dampened a little piece of a kitchen sponge, and this is called the squeegee method. Back and forwards, you're working this paint into the scratch. We're doing that twice with a light sand in between, and then doing the same thing the next day. With a brief wet sand, a clean, and then a heavy cut and polish. Again, it basically looks like it was never there. Some of the lighter scratches that didn't actually go into the base coat, they can be sorted out with just a light 1500 or 2500 sand and a cut and polish. With all our chip and scratch repair done, We now focused on removing all the accessories, all the trims, all the lights, everything that's bolted to the outside of the car to do a proper paint correction, top and bottom. So tail lights, they all came out. The tail light component that was in the boot, that all came out. All our badges, they were cut off with some fishing line, some brake cleaner, and a plastic razor blade. Gets off the remaining residue really well, I found. Even our boot lid opener, I removed that to get a bit of a better clean at it, and the rear wiper. The rear wiper is never coming back. Rear view mirrors as well, or side mirrors, pretty easy to take off. Didn't take them all the way off and unplug them. You'd have to take the door card off for that, but left the wires connected just so I could move them aside and clean and polish underneath them. Window trims, they come off very, very easily on this car. Same with the windscreen trims, they pop out nice and easily. People bag these cars, but very thorough German engineering. I thought it all came apart quite nicely so far. Side mirrors on the other side, absolutely everything, no exceptions here. Next up in sight was the rear bumper. It actually wasn't too bad. There's only 4 or 5 bolts that actually hold it on in general and some side clips. This was pretty easy with just one connection to the rear parking sensors. Managed to split the rear splitter away from the bumper pretty easy with just some big flat blade screwdrivers. That wasn't too hard at all. With it all off, I gave it a very, very satisfying and thorough clean with some detergent and truck wash. We also managed to clean right up underneath all the wheel guards and got a drill and a drill brush in there. Very, very satisfying, cleaning years of gunk out of there like that. Next up was our front bumper. A bit of a look at it. It was just a bit too far gone. It had some accident damage. It had a lot of road grime. It had some really deep chips from stones. It was a lot more complex. There's probably 20 screws in total that actually hold it on. The washer pipe, parking sensors, and all sorts of other things. These clips were very stubborn as well, and a couple of them broke, unfortunately. Nonetheless, we did get it off. Separating all the trim from the front bumper was just as hard. These things are really only designed to be put together once, unfortunately. Had to use heaps of little plastic wedges, some big flat blade screwdrivers to pry up all these little clips simultaneously so I could pull the trim out. I got there in the end, but it was a painful job. This was probably the hardest job of the whole process. Let me give everything a really, really thorough clean up though. Let me get into the radiators and the coolers and give them a bit of a washout. Not with the pressure washer though. With good access to them, I thought I may as well take the headlights out and we'll give them a bit of a tidy up as well. At this point we had everything stripped we wanted and all the paint chips had been repaired, so we can move on to our paint correction. I used a 2-step process, which is pretty good really. It's a Meguiar's Diamond Cuts and a Meguiar's Ultimate Polish. They work quite well, they complement each other. They're a good balance of aggressiveness and polishing power, with some good quality cutting and polishing pads. Bit of masking tape and brown paper. That really helps seal up the places you don't want polished or you don't want polish or cutting compound getting into. So all the door seals and the sunroof. Starting with our cut. Did 5 or 6 passes on the rotary polisher with 3 or 4 blobs of the cutting compound. Starting with a lot of pressure and slow passes, finishing with much lighter pressure and a faster speed. This on its own made quite a big difference. I like to do panel by panel, cutting each panel and then polishing that same panel. That way you're seeing the fantastic result that it ends up being. So it helps you to stay motivated on these big jobs. As you can see, it comes up sensationally, this Tornado Red paint. And the next pretty much 2 or 3 days I spent doing the same thing. Every panel, all the sides, the bonnet, the roof, but it started to look really, really good. Thankful that I took all the trims off and let me get into all the hard to reach spots a lot better. Even did things like the rear view mirrors and a few other bits of assorted trim. Covering up the wheels, covering up other bits and pieces to stop any unwanted polish or cutting compound getting flicked onto it. The bonnet was probably the most satisfying to do, given how bad it used to look. The rear quarter panels as well, they had an enormous improvement from what they were like before to what they were like after. They seem to have some of the worst hazing and scratching on the whole car. All our removed lights, they got a very, very thorough, heavy cut and polish. The rear lights, all the tail lights, they came up to perfection in the end with just a basic cut and a basic polish. I was very happy with them. There were many miscellaneous bits of trim that also needed a good restoration, a good polish, and they pretty much got the same process, the diamond cut and then the polish. Our tailpipes, they were also looking very grubby. I popped the rear crash bar off to get a bit of a better access at them, and I had some alloy polish lying around. Used that with a fresh disc that was slightly oversized, and they came up like new. The rear trim, the rear splitter that sits on the rear bumper there. Again, I didn't have high hopes for it, but the same process. It came up night and day, came up a very deep jet black. The headlights, they were both quite faded and quite chipped. So we started with some quite aggressive wet sanding, some heavier disc grits, and worked our way up to the grits, up to a 2000 grit, and then finished with the cutting compound and the polish. Again, they came up very, very good. The chrome trim on the bumper, this I would like to replace at some point. It's extortionately expensive. I'm gonna see if I can get some used ones or maybe something off AliExpress. The front bumper was just too far gone to restore to any sort of reasonable quality. So we gave it a heavy sand back, and with some 2-component filling compound, filled all the major accident damage, all the deep stone chips, and sanded it flat. The lighter chips and grazes, they were patched up with just a bottle of spray filler. I've always had good luck with this stuff. And sanding it flat with some 320 grit. The whole bumper was sanded and got it to a reasonable finish, ready to be primed. After a good blast off with the pressure washer, we masked up the grille as well as I'm doing the black behind the emblem, and laid down a couple of coats of a 2-pack epoxy primer. A bit of extra layer on places that I've patched and faired as well, but the entire bumper got a couple of full coats. With it all primed, I sanded it back with a 500 grit Galaxy pad with a interface pad that gave a pretty consistent finish, and then gave it a very aggressive scrub. Big thank you to Queensland Paint Supplies, they're always very helpful. They mass spectrometered and color matched my exact paint code, and it was, as expected, the Volkswagen Tornado Red. They've given us a 1-pack base coat and a litre of Concept Paint 2K clear coat as well. Is it the best quality paint that you can buy? No, but it's very, very easy to apply for the consumer, and I've had good success with it in the past. So this is 1 coat of the red base coat and 2 coats of the 2K clear coat. It came out really, really well in my marketplace tent booth. Now I tried to clean up the grills and do a black paint job on them, but they're just too much of a complex shape. Even just using rattle cans, I got too many runs and too many inconsistencies in them. I also tried to strip some paint off with them with some high powered thinners, and that ended up warping the plastic. So kissed a few $100 goodbye there. Thanks to FCP Euro though, they sent me a full set of genuine grills for this car. This one is a bit tricky to get grills for because it has the front assist and they're different to the normal Golf R, so there isn't many aftermarket options for them. They're about half the price of what the dealer wanted and they're still a genuine part. I don't know when a front bumper became this complicated, but everything was finished here, laid out, and came the big refit. This was a very satisfying part of it, clicking it all back together. It goes back together a lot easier than what it was taking apart, as I thought. All finished here and just about ready to go back onto the car. Refitting that and putting it back on the car was considerably easier than taking it off, I'll tell you that. Rear splitter went back on as well. Now to protect all our hard work, I had a bottle of Guy on ceramic coating and some prep wash floating around from a couple of years ago. I thought it might have gone off, but it still worked really, really well. So we gave everything a really good prep and a healthy coating with that. It is a spray coating. I actually found that applying it with a small bit of sponge and then buffing it was a lot easier and gave me a slightly better result. Following that, all the other trim went back on, the window seals, the door seals, everything clips back together really nicely. Nothing was left distorted. And with everything done, everything polished, corrected and protected, it wouldn't be complete without some new badges and some new stickers and a fresh set of plates. A lot of the badges are actually discontinued, even for a car that's this new, so I had to go aftermarket for them. There's a lot of aftermarket suppliers and all the ones that arrived were actually really good quality and they're only $10 or $12 or $15 each. We opted for some 19-inch Pretorias. Unfortunately, they sent the wrong color, so these are going on for now. I will get the silver ones soon. And they are wrapped in a brand new set of Continental Sport Contact 7s. That genuinely took days. Like that took days straight of work non-stop. It's probably about 60 hours in that whole thing, start to finish, I think. I have no intention on doing that again to any other car anytime soon, but it's done and we're forecast for a bright sunny morning, perfect for a reveal.